When it comes to growth, how are you going to use some of the things you learned at Twitter to help Jelly grow?
We are living, it's funny to say this in that it's only a few years later, but we're living in such a different world now. I mean, in 3 days, Jelly had more accounts than it took a year, twice the accounts it took a year to get at Twitter. And that's because of services like Twitter and Facebook that just spread the word so amazingly quickly.
How do you keep the growth like this, you know?
Well, you don't. You don't. I mean, when we launched and then we got featured in the Apple App Store, I mean, it was just crazy. And I just had to remind everyone on the team, it's going to go like this in a week. So be prepared for that. Don't think it's failure.
Right.
The way you got to do it is you have to build a system that has growth mechanisms in it, and you have to trust that those will work.
Right.
You know, you don't want anything artificial.
Anything you're not going to do at Jelly that you did at Twitter? Any mistakes that you learned from?
Well, we are not going to go down all the time. I mean,
no fail wheel?
We're using,
Jelly wheel?
Right. Although it would be an appropriate image.
Right.
Okay. But no, it's, again, a different world. We're able to use Amazon Web Services to, you know, host everything. We can spin up a new server in seconds, whereas, you know, back in the early days of Twitter, that was just a whole lot of work. So,
Twitter's now a public company. How is life different for you? Is it at all different?
Not really. It's different in that I have, I guess I would say my, you know, my notoriety, I have some notoriety, so I have the ability to, you know, get my phone calls answered or, you know, make a big deal when I launch a new app, and that, I think that certainly helps.
Right, right. Now, Twitter going public dredged up a lot of stories about the founding, a lot of drama. Nick Bilton wrote a whole book about it. Ev was the guy who, you know, really kept the company going financially. Jack, according to Nick Bilton, overhyped his role. You were sort of like Twitter's moral compass, the glue that kept Twitter together. How fair was his portrayal?
Well, I think, you know, he did, I think it was hundreds of hours of interviews. And so I think he was fairly thorough in his interviews. You know, fair, I think he had to make someone a bad guy, and he had to make someone the fall guy, and he had to make someone the good guy, right? Because it's more exciting that way. So in that capacity, I think maybe there was a little too much sharpness. But otherwise, I think, you know, there was stuff in there that I learned that I didn't even know.
Like what?
I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but like there were meetings. You
haven't read the whole thing yet?
No, I'm too like scatterbrained to read cover to cover. I just sort of looked at my section and a couple of other things. But no, there was meetings that were taken that I wasn't part of, etc.
So looking at Twitter today, you know, there has been this history of a revolving door. How confident are you in the people that are leading Twitter now?
I'm very confident in Dick and Adam Bain and all those guys. I think they're doing a great job. Ali Ragani. You know, we picked them. You know, and what I've always said is that, and I think this is true, is that Twitter needed who it needed at the time that it needed them, and that as it evolved, people switched roles. I mean, no matter how dramatic it was, people switched roles, and they were in the right roles. And I mean, look at where the company's come today. I think that's a testament to it.
Now, Michael Sippy, the head of product, just left, and you know, it set off some alarm bells, you know, because of Twitter's past. You know, some people are saying Twitter may be gun-shy about, you know, launching new products. It's difficult to get new product out the door. How do you see Twitter's ability to innovate in the future? Well, because there are a lot of things about Twitter that have stayed the same for a long time, and there are some things that are different.
Well, I mean, I think this is something that every company faces once they go public, right? There's like, okay, we have to make dramatic, innovative moves on the product side, but we have to be careful because now we have shareholders. But I think the shareholders and everyone understand what Twitter is as a company in that ecosystem, and that they have to make bold product maneuvers and changes, and I think they will. Speaking of shareholders, a lot of questions about when's Twitter going to turn a profit. Do those kinds of things concern you? No, I don't have to be concerned about those things. That's one of the reasons why we put Dick in that position, so that he could worry about those things.
It's his job. It's his job. Okay, but now this is the first time you're a CEO, right?
Yeah, right.
How is that?
It's great. I love it. The fact that I have Kevin Thaw at my back is really that really made all the difference.
This is the former vice president on Twitter who I mentioned before.
Yeah, you were talking before about we were talking before about how I didn't really intend to make this a company. In fact, I was telling Kevin Thaw, one of my friends and trusted advisors, about the idea, and he just said, "I'm in." And I thought he meant he likes the idea. And then I went to dinner at his house, and he said, "Hey, Biz, Jelly, I'm in."
No,
and
really,
I said,
I'm in.
What does that mean? Is this something the kids are saying? And he said, "No, I want to do this." And so once he decided to come on board, that's when really I said, well, with your help, I think I can make a good CEO.
What's your CEO style? I mean, is there someone out there that you look up to or admire?
It sounds kind of cheesy to say this, but I look up to Evan and Jack and Dick, and I like to kind of steal their best traits and try to fold them into my own leadership skills. But my main thing as a leader is to be as communicative as possible. I think that's like 50% or 75% of the job as a CEO, is to just make sure everybody knows everything they need to know.